Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect. Today we're going to be automating Amethyst, getting through some more Ars here with FTB Skies, and going to the Nether. I hope you guys are ready. Getting started today, we're going to be putting Ars Nouveau to the test. I have done a lot of work. I spent a couple of hours prepping this whole chest. And yes, there's a lot of glyphs in here that I have gotten nice and organized and sorted, and also accounted for the glyphs that we actually will get via the quest. So with all this crafting, we do have a lot of things that we actually get. We get a Wellspring charm, which is kind of nice. It's a free charm. We don't have to craft. We get ourselves Star Buckle. We get ourselves a Glyph of the Monster. We do get glyphs from our quest, so we need to keep that in mind. But my goal after accepting all this stuff, let's go in here, a lot of helpful stuff, especially the Glyph of Evaporate. This one costs sponge, and we only get one sponge to kind of start with. And then the Place Fluid, which is a tier 2 spell. We get a Glyph of Invisibility, Heal, and Dampen. All of those are fantastic spells as well. The Lay Hands is actually a part of 2 mini glyphs, which is a different mod, a new mod. And we also get Summon Wolves. All of these are super useful, by the way. Conjure Mage Light is fantastic as well, and you get all of those. All of these glyphs, basically, once you've crafted at least some of the basic glyphs that you have here. Now, I've gone through and I've hand done every single one of these. You can see my chest is nice and filled. I did go ahead and craft a bunch of the essence because it was needed for a lot of these things. So I did tier 1 and tier 2. I've not done tier 3, but tier 3 doesn't have as many, so it wouldn't be as hard to get set up. Orbit is fantastic, by the way. There's honestly several in here that are fantastic, but let's just focus on the tier 1 and tier 2. There's a lot to unlock here, and you want to try and unlock all of them. You do want to kind of spend the time to unlock all of your glyphs, if at all possible, even if you're not going to use them, such as like the filter ones, for example. If you're not going to use the filter ones, still craft them, because the more you have, the more of these you craft, the more of these you have stored, the more overall mana you're going to have, which is nice, right? That just expands on your mana. So we get to go through the fun part of unlocking all of these. And this is just going to continually expand our mana. And that's what I really want. I definitely want all the mana, but of course I want all of these. It's really nice to have all of these at your disposal to sort of play with in your book. So as you can see, I have all of them made for tier 1. They're all highlighted, and all of them made for tier 2, minus the pickup fluid, which requires a jar that I just haven't farmed the tree for. But other than that, we're ready to rock and roll. And we're ready to open up our book and really dive deep into some spells that are going to help us fight mobs in the Nether. Because today, we're going to be venturing into the Nether. Now, one of the first spells I really want is a dash. Now, to get this dash to work, you're going to need a couple of things, and this is all done in the first tier, so you can do this all in the first tier. But we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need Self. We're going to cast on our Self, and you notice it gets rid of everything else that we don't want. But we want Leap. Now, Leap is going to cast us forward. It's going to cast us in our direction. There is another one that will shoot you up into the air, but Leap is the next tier that I want. Now we can amplify this. We can modify our Leap. You can see there's an AoE. Don't really know how that would work unless you had it cast onto more mobs. But we have Amplify, which we can give it a couple of amplifies so that way it gives us more Leap, because the base Leap doesn't leap you very far. I'm going to go with 3 for now, and then I'm going to hit it with a Bounce. Bounce is going to add a bounce effect to us, and then I'm actually going to apply a dampen or a duration down on our bounce. I don't know how many I'm going to need, but I don't want my bounce to last very long. You can see it's going to last 20 seconds. We might even need to make that duration a little bit lower, but we just want enough to be able to fall to the ground safely. So you can see, whoa, okay. Maybe the dash with that many amplifies is too much. So we can actually lower the amplifies. I feel like that might be too much on the amplify. But there we go. We can put these here. I think that duration down is fine. Yeah, even that still. Man, that leap is is crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right, maybe a single amplify. Let's just go with that. Let's go with that. Okay. And notice it doesn't use too much. Oh yeah, that's much more reasonable. Just a single amplify, because whew, it would get pretty tough. Now, this leap also is useful for your elytra. So instead of using rockets, we can just use our leap. And if you're wondering how I'm casting it, I actually have the number 1 assigned in the keybinds, and you can assign that to any key. And even if you're not on it, let's say we're using a damage spell, we can actually still cast leap at any time. And that's what I definitely want. Now, that is just a movement spell. So that is our dash. Let's go ahead and try out some other spells. There's actually a lot of interesting damage spells we can make. Now, this next spell is Cold Snap, or it is the way you set up Cold Snap. And I've found overusing this, you know, long time. I've been playing with Ars for a long time. I have learned from you guys in the comments some interesting ways of setting this up. So first of all, we hit a projectile because we want this to be a ranged spell. And then we're going to freeze any mob that it hits. So we hit it with a freeze. And now, if you're going to apply another spell, such as Cold Snap, which you can read right here, that basically snares the enemies and causes the enemies to sort of burst in damage, and it also affects an AoE, you can't just apply it right away. We need to apply a delay, slight delay, not a whole lot, but we do need to apply a little bit of a delay. So there is a delay spell, and we put that in between, and everything to the right will be delayed. So if we had, we did this and we hit it with another cold and fire and so on, it would do that. So what we want to do is projectile, freeze, delay, and Cold Snap. And we can amplify any of these, but let's first see how much this actually does on its own. So we want to kind of keep an eye on our mana, right? And it doesn't look like it uses a whole lot of our current mana. And we don't even have any upgrades, really. Other than our gear, that's the only thing giving us mana regen. We don't even have a mana regen necklace or anything that increases the amount of mana we have. So, is there a good way to test this? Well, as you've seen right there, we just did. And it didn't do a whole lot of damage, but it is working. You can see that it's hitting it with the cold, and then it's bursting shortly after that. And that's what we want to see, for sure. Now, how much damage is this actually doing? Is there a good way to see? I don't know if there's test dummies in here. But yeah, this isn't doing a whole lot to this because this has regeneration on it. But there we go. It killed that bee that was next to it, right? And it can do an AoE like that. That's pretty nice. All right. So we'll test this out when we go to the Nether. And if we have to augment it, we can always add augments and amplifies, right? Now, another one is going to be light. It's very, very simple. All we have to do is set up a projectile because we want this to be arranged, and we just conjure Mage Light. That's a super simple spell, and we can go ahead and save it and then change the color of it to be anything we want. So if I want it to be white, we can save it as white. And now we should get a projectile, as you can see, that summons this little light that we can put anywhere. So we can now fill our area here with these beautiful lights. Another super fun damaging spell is Launch. So let's go ahead and set up this Launch spell. It is yet again going to be projectiles so we can access things at range. Now this won't work on things that fly in the air. Well, sort of. Because actually it might work on things that are flying through the air. So let's go ahead and take a projectile, and whatever it hits is going to get launched in the air. And then we're going to amplify this at least once, and then we're going to hit it with a time, again, a delay. And then after the short delay, it's going to be hit with the force of gravity. This will cause double fall damage when it smashes down into the ground. So this should, once gravity hits, it should even affect flying mobs and should disable their flight. So that's a pretty powerful spell, all in all. It's yeah, it works on blocks too, as you can see. That it can cause blocks to fall. But imagine this happening to a mob, right? An entity. It's going to launch them in the air, and we may have to increase the amount of amplify that is set here on the launch, but it should work just fine. Now, this next spell involves, well, a name tag. You do have to level up one of these villagers to get yourself a name tag. But once you have it, you will have a spell that will allow you to name things. So let's go ahead and find an empty slot, and we'll do touch. And then we need to find the name tag. So we search name. There we go. And we just apply that. Like, this is very simple. Now, whatever we name this spell is what this will actually apply the name of. So let's try Ron. The name is Ron. And if we use it, maybe you have to shift. I might have to projectile this one. But we should be able to get Ron on there. So let's hit projectile. And there it goes. As you can see, it's named Ron. How cool is that? I do want to test this out. There's actually a ray, which is another option. It's sort of like touch, but you can increase the touch distance, sort of. And let's test it out on here. Let's name our potato. So let's name it Frenchie. Let's see. Let's see if this works. This may not work. We may have to name this in an anvil. I don't know. There's a ray. It does like an instant teleport. But as you can see, it did not name. So I think we have to name the potato inside of here. And there's Frenchie. And I don't know if the name shows up. There it goes. But yeah, we did it. Now, as far as the bee goes, if I let this out of the jar, our little bee is going to actually get angry with us. But it's fine in the jar for now. But there we go. There's a way to name tag, and you can do this really, really easy, as you can see, just by changing the spell name. Now, I could go on for days talking about all the cool spells, but I do want to get to the Nether. So let me kind of gloss over a couple of quick spells real quick. There's some new things. Animated block is like a block that'll fight for you. You can access an Ender inventory from Ars. This is so powerful. Like, you don't even realize how much you can do, even with just a tier 2. You can grow. You can infinitely bone meal so long as you have mana. You can heal yourself. It's really nice to actually make a heal spell if you can. You don't have regeneration. You can use potions on mobs. Considering you have the potion, you can light fires. You can get rid of water. You can place water infinitely. You can crush ore with this. You can smelt said ore as well. You can exchange blocks, which we'll probably end up using because it like randomly exchanges depending on what items you have in your hotbar. Basically, it's like an exchanger that works like a trowel. It's pretty cool. You can have a crafting table. You can conjure blocks with this that you can stand on, place water, pick up water, place blocks. You can break blocks. You can break in a 3x3. You can break ranged, which is another thing we're going to definitely have to get set up. That is probably going to be one of the more important. You can also open this wheel. Let's select 10, and let's actually set up the range break, right? So break is very important, and there we go. We have a ranged break, but we also want the items to go into our inventory. So you want item pickup after the ranged break, and there we go. That'll be our ranged break spell. It's really, really useful. So if you're at range and you hit this, you see it broke the block and it immediately put it in my inventory. Super useful. Now, I do want to test this new thing out. So I do need some chests, like 4 chests. And we'll place a lectern in 4 of these books, or 4 of these chests, and then this inside. This will grant us a really cool thing. It's called the, what is it, storage lectern? Part of mystical storage. And so this is a storage device sort of thing that we should be able to use to access inventories. This thing is actually kind of cool, and I wish I would have known about this, even though this does require a little bit to get into. I mean, it just requires you to have access to villagers. This is a inventory, and it looks like simple storage in its interface, very similar to all kinds of other mods, with a searching feature. It's actually, that's really beautiful, I have to admit. Now, to get this to work, apparently we need those bookworms. So the way we get this is with a book and quill. Let's see, I'm pretty sure I have a book and quill. So we place this down. This is the ritual brazier, and then we ignite it like this, and then we should be able to place the book in, and as you can see, it says book and quill consumed, and then we activate it, and as you can see, it gave us the charm we need. And so we're supposed to put this on here, just like that. And you can see it is now on top of it. We use the Dominion wand, I believe, to link the chest. So inventory added. And so now anything that goes in this chest, we should now be able to see in this storage. That is pretty cool. That is kind of cool. So we can take like all of these items here and put them in there, and we have access to them. That's pretty neat. And you can see it's sort of like going back and forth. Look at this little guy, man. He's so adorable. But that's the way the storage. So if you wanted to use this storage, you know, and get a you know, a handle on this this mod pack, maybe if you're playing it again or what have you, man, I might use this as early storage, because you can link multiple to this inventory. But the thing that you're going to have to keep in mind is while you're doing this, like while you're using it, you can see it's actually making sounds because it's putting it back and forth. To add more inventories, you have to have more of these. So you'd have to make them. Now, thankfully, you can make them pretty easily, as you just seen. And all that stuff can be got from our villagers. Pretty cool. Like, this is just a cool thing, I have to admit. It has JEI synchronized. You can sort by amount. I mean, it's basically it's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a larger storage. That is so cool. And it gives us access to a tier 4 storage module, meaning you can technically use RF tools as a large storage for it. There's so many cool things. You gotta love this. And we get another one that we should be able to link to it as well. That is so cool. Now, just in case you're wondering how to actually get rid of these little guys, well, you actually need a spell called Dispel. So you just do a touch and Dispel, and it should turn it back into its basic form. You may have to have a projectile, actually, not touch. So let's try projectile. Actually, let me make sure to save that projectile. And there you go. You can see it turns it back into its charm form. Thus, I think rendering this, well, actually, no, it does seem to actually work, even without that guy wandering around. Very interesting. Also, a little neat thing, apparently if you place an inventory next to this, it should act as a inventory, an input. As you can see, we put the items in, and it actually went over here. That's even cooler. I learn something new every day, and that's what I enjoy about modded Minecraft. You know, it's just, there's just so much to learn, and my goodness, fantastic. Now, before we go to the Nether, there is one more thing I want to do, and that is summon an Amethyst Golem. So all we have to do is place the active, or the awakening, on the brazier and activate it, and this should summon, with the budding amethyst being nearby, it should summon a pretty cool looking fella. Look at this. Look at this little guy. So what this guy will do is, if we take the Dominion one and we select, we should be able to set the home right here, and it is going to harvest the amethyst clusters, as you can see. Ooh, it's doing a weird job of only the amethyst clusters, though. It should pick them all up. Actually, oh, that's right. We need a starbuncle, I believe, to get it working. Well, I don't know. It should be able to pick them up. Maybe it just couldn't move, and that's why it was placing it all on the ground. But there it goes. Yeah, there it goes. It picks it up, and it puts it in the chest. There it goes. Perfect. So yeah, now we have a way of harvesting this. This little fella looks like he can't get quite up there, but this guy's pretty cool because we can take the amethyst, and if you don't want to grow it the way we've been growing it, we can place a regular block of amethyst right here, and over time, this guy will actually convert it into budding amethyst. It's pretty cool. I guess while I'm at it, I better make a starbuncle, so I'm making it right now, and this will collect items for us, and it does seem like some of the items are not being picked up, and so that's where this little fella will come into play. So we just need to store its location, and we tell it it's a chest, and it should hopefully go around, go away from this. Can you get off of here? Storing items at 0 locations, taking items from 0 locations. It should be able to store. So I think I got it working. I placed it here, cleared its inventory, and made sure to relink it. And now it looks like it is picking up the items. Yeah, it puts it in this little bag. And there we go. Oh, how cute. How cute. And this will collect all the items off the ground from this big old fella. So at this point, I think we're ready to go into the Nether and actually explore one of these new islands. This is going to be pretty cool, pretty important as well. Now, one big thing, at this point, I've had my minimap off, right? And I think it's definitely time to probably turn the minimap back on. So if I go into my settings here, we can go to the minimap. I do have it turned off, so I'll just boop to turn it back on. Because I need to be able to see my Y level, my up and down on my Y level. That is very important, especially when you can't really see anything in that dimension. So let's head downstairs and we are going to make our way there. Now, I do want to test one thing once we get here. I want to make sure this Ender book can teleport us back. So let's make our way. It should take us right in. I do have a charm on. And as you can see, it did work. Now, let's try to teleport back. So I teleport and it does work. I can't tell. We may have also crashed. So after that interesting crash, at least it teleported me back, which is kind of nice. However, it is going to be kind of scary to use it again, but we will probably end up using it again. Even if it causes a crash, I am down to deal with that. Now, the Eye of Legend, this thing is going to be kind of important. Now, we are going to have the elytra that we basically have, right, on. That's how we're going to fly around. Not the greatest way to fly around, not the safest. So we might want to take a couple of the chorus fruit with us. So let's grab a few. We do emeralds, right? And we can eat these really fast if we make a gluttony charm. Is that still a thing? Oh, is it not in here? Does Dark Utilities not have a gluttony charm anymore? Oh, it doesn't. Well, anyways, I guess we can still eat them though. We are going to need... I think we can just buy them off the villager, right? That's why I got the emeralds out. So, right here. So we definitely want to buy a few of those. These are going to grant us like a minute's worth of creative flight. I think it's a minute. Yep, a minute worth of creative flight, and it adds every time we eat one an extra minute. So you have to be very, very cautious with this because you can't see your timer. So this would be only in emergencies, I think, would we want this creative flight. All right, back into the Nether. And I'm hoping this one thing, it'll be enough to get us onto the portal and to use this Eye of Legend. It'll get us pointed in at least the right direction, right? How do we actually use this thing? Oh, there it goes. So we know it's off in this direction. Oh, and it's reusable. That is nice. So, the problem is I don't exactly know. I know it's going to be northwest. So it'll be in the northwest direction. So we'll just have to continue to fly in this direction. And hopefully we'll encounter it. Whoa, okay. Whew. Okay, northwest direction. I have to keep an eye on my Y level. I almost forgot that I have to have my book in my hand. But that Y level is very important because there's nothing we can see. So we're just going to have to cruise until we find something. Thankfully, like, it's incredibly fast flight. Incredibly fast flight. I don't see anything on the minimap. We're 300 blocks up in the air, which is pretty high. I would say stick around the 100s mark. Like at least in the 200s. You don't go too low because then you'll start you'll start to take void damage, and that would get you killed. And at last, I think we found it. Yes, right here. Whoo! Oh boy. All right, and this is a good one. So this has Enderman. I think we have a good spot to land right here, but there we are. We've made it. Nice. Okay. So, I'm going to set up with our spells, Cold Snap. I do have my sword, which of course is pretty powerful. But it looks like we're just going to be dealing with Enderman. I do not have any gold on me, which I probably should have done. Ghostly Bee. Oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff here. The lubricant dispenser. Okay. So pretty nice. So this is very similar to the sort of setups that we find elsewhere. Oh, and here's where we get some fungus. Let's continue looking. By the way, I do want to set a... Oh, I can't set a waypoint back here. I guess we'll have to mark it on the map. Oh, look, there's another chest. Okay. We'll grab that netherite. There's an air source receptacle, and these are filled. These are receptacles that are filled. That makes elemental craft so much easier. Oh my. Yeah, because the biggest part about elemental craft, in my opinion, is the hard part is just the grind for getting the source. It is very, very tedious. Wow, this is... Did we just find some jetpacks? Okay, we've got to open this up. Open our ender storage. And we just found a jetpack here. Like, no joke. We just found a jetpack. And then we also have an infused pickaxe. This is from occultism. Glyph of exchange. We don't need any of the glyphs anymore. We have all the glyphs. Speed augments. Some force. A experience bee. Very cool. Oh, and a soul's axe. And some mechanism stuff. There's a lot of little niceties that we're finding here. This looks like it's also a place where we can find ancient debris, because I just stumbled upon some. I was wondering how we come across spawners, and there's a piglin spawner right here, so that would be an interesting way of gathering spawners, is from these areas. Now that we have a jetpack, kind of want to get back and test out that jetpack. Uh-oh, just use cold snap on that guy on accident. Very nice. Oh, there's just so much loot. I love this. It says Suniker is bound to this pickaxe. So I wonder if the Suniker was the one who made the loot tables for this. That's interesting. Oh, I encountered my first hater. Let's dispel him. I wonder how... Yeah, this should be pretty quick. Look at that. They get just destroyed by the spell. And like even Enderman, like it totally affects Enderman too. And we can keep shooting them with it until they're completely gone. Of course, the fastest way to kill them is going to be with my sword for right now, without going in and, you know, updating all the amplifies and everything like that. The regeneration just makes it so fast. Like we just heal so fast. So I wonder if this is where you just get, yeah, you get all the different sources. Okay. Oh, we ended up getting, okay, immune to suffocation and elytra crash damage. That could be kind of useful. Almost full netherite gear and a fire crystal bee. God, there's just so much good stuff here. Straight up a block of mana steel. Yes. And then floating agricarnation from Botania. I feel like there's still loot that I haven't even found yet. There's straight up a singularity in here. What? You don't have to go through the process of filling an entire 64K drive with fluid or whatever you're going to fill it with. This one has skull catalysts in it, which is very interesting. There's an infinity wand in here. How interesting. It uses a nether star. Like, wow. Yeah, these are infinite. There's even terrasteel nuggets. Now, I think for the most part, I have looted most of this island, and I think it's a good time now to return back. Now that I'm back, let's take a look at our haul. So this is our ender storage, and I think we got one of every source type, like a container or receptacle for it, which allows us to place these in world as their actual source container. We ended up getting a bunch of stuff from Apotheosis, also some Tetra things that are a major part of Tetra. The fact that we just got a tier 3 jetpack is fantastic, and it has modifiers on it, which make it even crazier, that it's already set up with Apotheosis. Some budding amethyst is also over there. It seems like there's a bunch of netherite and chance cubes. Mana steel, which is fancy. Occultism pick, which is needed for some things in occultism. We also got dragonstone and pixie dust just for free, which is this actually is required for the like you can only get this from the Gaia portal. We also got some terrasteel nuggets, an infinity wand, some craziness here, a singularity. Just of course you can get your full set of netherite gear, it seems like. Some of the different bees, like a fire bee, the spirit bee, there was a ghost bee and other things like that. I think I have more things in my backpack. Yep, there's a ghost bee, more gems and stuff. Even a glyph. There's an exchange glyph, even though we've already made all the glyphs. There's a spirit bee from productive bees. The spirit bee would be really nice. We're gonna have to get into productive bees. Experience bee and the crystalline bee. Very cool. And we got all this stuff. Also some warp nylium. And we also have the mushrooms. So all in all, that was a worthwhile trip. And I also managed to grab some magma blocks while I was there, so I don't have to craft them all the time. So all in all, what did I learn from today? Well, I probably should have made a jetpack instead of relying on this setup. Yeah, that was scary. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and enjoyed the journey and had some fun. I definitely had a blast today, and we have gone pretty much entirely through basic Ars Nouveau. So there's a lot more still add-on wise that we'll be using with some other mods, including Create. But for right now, this has been a fun journey, and I'm glad you guys have been enjoying it with me. Now, down in the comments below, let me know what you plan on using or what you have already used to fly and teleport around, as I did experience some crashing with that Ender book. It was definitely cyclic related. But let me know down in the comments below. What you're using as your primary method of flight so far, and how you're teleporting around. I would love to know. I plan on here soon using Ars to actually teleport around. So guys, thank you so much for watching today. If you would click that subscribe button, give this video a huge thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And guys, it's time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that huge thanks is going out to Oliver Felden. Thank you so much for your amazing support over on the Discord, supporting in one of the best ways possible. I can't say thank you enough. And of course, guys, if you're interested in becoming a Discord or YouTube member, all you gotta do is check out the links down in the description below. YouTube members is just right next to that subscribe button if you haven't clicked it already. So guys, I really appreciate it yet again. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching. Guys, what do you call a wizard that just fell down some stairs? Dumbledore. Oh god.